The rain pounded against the cracked windshield of Mia's old pickup truck, each drop a hammer against her resolve. She sat in the driver's seat, hands trembling on the steering wheel, staring at the neon glow of the diner where she'd just caught her husband, Ethan, laughing with another woman. Her heart felt like it was splitting, the kind of pain that makes you question every promise ever whispered in the dark. 5 years of marriage, 2 miscarriages, and countless nights waiting for him to come home from work had led to this moment. Mia wasn't just heartbroken, she was furious, betrayed, and terrified of what came next. Mia and Ethan had met in a small Tennessee town, where the air smelled of honeysuckle and second chances. She was a barista with dreams of opening her own bakery, her hands always dusted with flour, her smile a magnet for anyone who walked into the coffee shop. Ethan was the charming mechanic with a crooked grin and a knack for fixing things, cars, hearts, broken dreams. Their love was a whirlwind, all late-night drives and stolen kisses under the stars. They married young, promising to build a life together, one where Mia's bakery would thrive, and Ethan would always be her safe harbor. But promises, Mia was learning, could be as fragile as sugar glass. The first challenge came early. 6 months into their marriage, Mia miscarried their first child. The grief was a heavy fog, clouding their home. Ethan tried to be there, holding her through the tears, but his own pain made him distant. He started working late, claiming the garage needed him. Mia, lost in her sorrow, didn't question it. She threw herself into her baking, perfecting recipes for cakes and pies, hoping to save enough to open her shop. But the money never seemed to add up. Ethan's paychecks were always short, and bills piled up like fallen leaves. The second miscarriage, 2 years later, broke something deeper. Mia felt like she was failing, not just as a mother but as a wife. Ethan's late nights grew more frequent, his excuses sharper. "You're too focused on what we don't have," he'd snap when she asked about the money or his whereabouts. Mia started to notice the signs: lipstick on a collar, a text message he quickly deleted, the faint scent of perfume that wasn't hers. She wanted to believe his sweet lies, the ones he told with that same crooked grin. "I'm working for us, Mia. I love you. Always will." But love, she realized, could be a cruel disguise. The diner scene was the breaking point. Mia had followed Ethan that night, her gut screaming what her heart refused to hear. Through the rain-streaked window, she saw him with a woman, blonde, laughing, her hand on his arm like it belonged there. Mia's world tilted. She wanted to storm in, to scream, to shatter their cozy little moment. But she didn't. Instead, she drove home, the rain blurring her tears, and packed a bag. She wasn't running away, she was running toward something, even if she didn't know what. The next morning, Mia moved into a tiny apartment above the coffee shop where she worked. The owner, Mrs. Clara, a widow with a sharp tongue and a soft heart, gave her the place for cheap. "You're stronger than you think, girl," Clara said, handing her the keys. Mia wasn't so sure. Starting over felt like climbing a mountain with no map. She had no savings, no bakery, and a heart full of jagged edges. But she had her hands, her recipes, and a stubborn streak that refused to let Ethan's betrayal define her. The first challenge of her new life was financial. Ethan had drained their joint account, leaving Mia with barely enough to cover rent. She took on extra shifts at the coffee shop, her days a blur of coffee grounds and forced smiles. At night, she baked in the tiny apartment kitchen, experimenting with new recipes, her only solace. The smell of cinnamon and vanilla became her therapy, each batch a small act of defiance against the life that had tried to break her. The second challenge was emotional. Loneliness crept in like a thief, stealing her sleep. She missed Ethan, not the man who lied, but the one she thought she'd married. She missed the dreams they'd shared, the family they'd planned. Her friends tried to help, inviting her out, but their pity stung worse than their absence. One night, unable to sleep, Mia scrolled through her phone and found an old voicemail from Ethan, recorded after their first date. "Mia, you're my home," he'd said, his voice thick with sincerity. She deleted it, tears streaming, and vowed to stop looking back. The third challenge was rebuilding trust, not just in others, but in herself. Mia had always been the good wife, forgiving Ethan's flaws, believing his lies. Now, she questioned her own judgment. Was she naive? Weak? She started journaling, pouring her doubts onto paper. One entry read, "I loved him too much and myself too little. Never again." Slowly, she began to see her strength, the way she kept showing up, kept baking, kept dreaming, even when it hurt. The turning point came when Clara tasted one of Mia's lemon lavender scones and declared, "These could sell out in an hour." She convinced Mia to sell her baked goods at the coffee shop. The first batch, blueberry muffins and chocolate croissants, sold out by noon. Customers raved, asking for more. Mia's confidence grew, a fragile but stubborn spark. She started a small side business, Mia's Sweet Haven, selling pastries on weekends. The extra income helped, but more than that, it gave her purpose. She wasn't just surviving, she was creating. Ethan reappeared 3 months later, standing outside the coffee shop, his eyes tired, his grin gone. "I messed up, Mia," he said. She meant nothing. "I want you back." Part of her wanted to believe him, to fall back into the comfort of familiarity. But the lies were too heavy, the hurt too deep. "You don't get to break me twice," she told him, her voice steady. She walked away, head high, leaving him in the rain. The final challenge was fear, of failure, of being alone, of never being enough. Mia faced it head-on when she applied for a small business loan to open her bakery. The bank manager, a kind woman named Sarah, saw the fire in Mia's eyes and approved the loan. With Clara's help and her own relentless grit, Mia leased a storefront, painted it sunflower yellow, and hung a sign, "Sweet Haven Bakery." Opening day was a whirlwind, lines out the door, neighbors bringing flowers, kids smearing frosting on their faces. Mia cried that night, not from pain, but from pride. A year later, Sweet Haven was thriving. Mia hired 2 employees, expanded the menu, and started teaching baking classes to local kids. She wasn't rich, but she was free, free from Ethan's lies, free from self-doubt. She dated again, cautiously, learning to trust her heart. One evening, as she locked up the bakery, a customer left a note, "Your pies taste like hope." "Thank you." Mia tucked it into her journal, next to the entry about loving herself. The story of Mia's journey isn't just about surviving betrayal, it's about reclaiming power. Life can be rough, love can cut deep, and lies can sting, but the truth is stronger. Mia learned that her heart, though scarred, could still bake beauty from pain. For every American watching her story unfold on a 10-minute YouTube video, the message is clear: you are enough. Your dreams are worth fighting for. And no matter how dark the night, you can rise, create, and find your own sweet haven.